Good afternoon, traders. This is Tony D from the easyMarkets dealing room in Sydney. Update for you today. We've had a lot of risk-off trading in yesterday's London session, but somewhat of a reversal so far in the US and the Asian sessions today. The heavy selling on the dollar yen below 110 has been reversed. We're sitting above 110 at the moment. Risk appetite is improving. Stock market started to rebound in the US session after heavy selling. And we've seen just generally a lack of follow-through so far on the trade war issue, as a lot of traders step back and ask the question, is this going to lead to a trade war, or is it just part of negotiation tactics from Trump? So the benefit of the doubt given at the moment by a lot of the US traders anyway is that this is not going to materialize into something a little bit more aggressive. And so, one of the key ways of checking whether the market's in risk off or risk on when it comes to trade wars is to look at, say, the Aussie dollar or a hybrid Aussie yen. So Aussie yen has always been a bit of a risk sensitive pair, and the price action in the last day has been aggressive to the downside and then recovering so far for the last 12 hours or so. Now, if we don't get follow through selling, and the market stabilizes, then we are at quite low levels, and perhaps we will grind higher still. If this sort of selling and this sort of levels of the market does require fear. If that fear subsides, then profit taking and grinding up is fairly normal in this sort of market, especially if you look at the size of the moves of pairs like pound yen, euro yen, all had heaps of movement to the downside, therefore can have retracements of hundreds of pips without really affecting the downtrend. Look at the euro yen in particular as well. Alright, now big levels on the euro have held so far. That's helping as well stabilize the markets. The 115 level hasn't really hasn't been broken just yet. And while that is the case, then the argument can be made perhaps we will be a little bit more mellow here on this 115, 116 handle. In data-wise, big data tomorrow night from the Bank of England, and a big vote for May again tonight in the UK regarding her Brexit plans and how much power she's going to have to negotiate, and whether she needs to allow the Parliament a final vote on the Brexit deal she does negotiate. That's a big point of concern for traders, and it's very hard for the pound to recover, and you can see it underperforming most of the other majors here. Very little bounce so far because there's so much uncertainty still, and time is running out a little bit for May to get some sort of backing in the next 2 weeks before the EU summit, where there is going to be the UK blueprint handed down for their Brexit plan, whether that will be accepted by the EU as well. That is also a big point of debate, and while this is the case, it's going to be hard for the Bank of England to be come across extremely hawkish when there's that big question mark about Brexit. If you do get past the Brexit issue, though, then the Bank of England, the argument can be made that the Bank of England can turn a little bit more hawkish, whilst tomorrow they may not. The meeting after tomorrow, because there is some data rebounding. So strong jobs data and strong PMIs on the services have left many thinking perhaps the UK economy isn't as sluggish as the Q1 data did sort of suggest. And the pound at these sort of levels, while half of it is US dollar strength and a bit of euro weakness, these are still historically low, and a lot of it is to do with the Brexit numbers itself. So, the pound getting back to 150, which is probably equivalent to the euro at 110, would be sort of a normal sort of rally that you would expect, even in a strong US dollar environment, if the UK can get past the Brexit issues, which seem bigger question, a bigger debate than, a bigger ask than just we first thought, and it's really dragging on now, and it's a constant headache for pound traders each day. What's the next headline going to be, positive or negative? Alright guys, so yeah, Aussie dollar recovering a little bit, nothing too aggressive so far in the movements today. We'll see if there is any more headlines from Trump regarding trade. Really have to see exactly what the negotiations in the background are. There's supposed to be talks going on between the US and China at the moment, so perhaps there is more developments going to be coming out shortly. But right now, yeah, the trade fears have subsided a little overnight, so the market is enjoying small bounces on a lot of pairs, and stocks are so far not capitulating.